Alright, it's 6:30, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Sullivan,
Here.
Burgess,
Here.
Walden,
Here. Alright, can I get a motion to approve, the last meeting's minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye. Alright, a lot of this has been handled already, but I still just wanna go through it just to update everybody as far as watching. The committee was waiting for Tristan to get prices for detailing the city vehicles.
Never heard anything back from him.
I'll get in touch with him.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, the police squad car is 5 years old, and the committee was looking for next year's budget.
Yeah, we talked about that. I know Gary has. We're gonna kind of see what's gonna go on.
Alright. The state police started patrolling 51, and lines have been painted by IDOT on 51. We had quite a few.
Yeah, we did.
tickets
We
on
actually had a
it.
letter. I think you guys all got it. 42 citations were written as a total, and I don't know on what. They just stated 42 citations. Now, the first conversation I had with them back in November, the state police, they were going to get with us and talk about how to be proactive and work together on it. I never heard anything. So it's kind of like they were out there and then they kind of just left.
Do we have a date of when they're gonna start the,
No, I probably do need to reach out to IDOT. So when last conversation I had with them was back in August. They stated it'd be 18 to 24 months. Well, if we go by that timeline, the 18th month would be December of this year. But prior to that, they had to have public hearings and let the public know. But I have not heard anything. But I do need to reach out because some of the people have said something.
So probably
Taylor,
next spring,
yeah,
at the earliest,
probably.
yeah.
But no, I will reach out.
Alright, Chief Wade received $500 for Walmart grant and was looking for another $1,500 coming. That did
Yeah.
come in, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, didn't it? Yeah, cause that was November,
Yeah.
December, yeah.
I had more than that.
The cost of the CPR dummies are $449. Chief Wade has received medical training and would like to train other police officers in CPR. The medical training is a 4-hour class for the officers.
We have those in, we just had to put the class together, so I can start doing that pretty quick.
Nice.
Is that something that's already kind of laid out, or you just have to do it, kind of make up?
It's pretty much laid out, I just have to do it.
Okay.
Because of, the Red Cross, that, I think the Red Cross does CPR, I'm not certified to teach CPR. I can teach officers CPR, like a first responder basis, but I can't certify, and I can't even certify the officers either on CPR. Apparently every year they have a new book or whatever that comes out, and they want you to use their materials. So the state is working, the police, training board is working with, the American Red Cross to see if we can get that certification, cause that's something that would be great for us. If we're already doing it, if we're already teaching it,
Yeah.
why not let us be certified to do it, so.
Sure.
But they have a specific way they train, so.
So you
Yeah.
can teach it just to officers, but you can't,
Yeah,
they don't get a certification.
Yeah, I mean, I can teach anybody, it's pretty,
Yeah.
and so could you guys, if you've been through it, it's really easy, but it's just, you won't be certified with your card.
Gotcha.
And it's like a 2-year course, isn't it, a 2-year certification, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Alright. Chief Wade informed the committee that there was an active shooter training at the schools recently, and that went pretty well as far as the training, right?
Yes. Also, just a caveat, the Moequa chief and I were able to tour some of the academy, it would have been a week ago yesterday, for additional training that we can do as full-time officers up there and with our officers that work for us. They're in the works to build a 2-story school just for law enforcement to do that type of training in.
Wow.
Up in that area, so it's pretty high speed is what we
Yeah.
say. So, and I need to get with Herbie about that too, because they have 2 grain, I was telling Derek, 2 grain silos one of them has fake crane in it that you can train
Oh,
crane rescues. So,
yeah, get with him.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the fire tower. You can pump smoke into
So it's
certain
into-
buildings
mhm.
or certain rooms of the tower.
Do any fire department
Mhm.
use it then?
Yeah, we just have to
Okay.
get it like
Yeah.
basically a kind of a waiver
Yeah.
that we would be covered under our own insurance if something were to happen.
Yeah.
So, but it's gonna, their goal is to make it the training facility in the nation, if not the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Cool.
yes, yeah, very good.
It's nice.
And Mayor Page was called by Breck's Exquisite Eats for a possible mobile liquor license. We got the liquor license
Yeah, that'll
in
take care of.
December, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the new liquor license for this year, right?
Yeah, so they got one in December and then in January.
Okay.
So they're good to about what, April? Yeah, they gotta renew it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
March 31st.
Yeah.
Alright, and we wanna talk about the.
I don't care. You can do whatever you want. But
Okay. There's new language, gonna be drafted and voted on, for the, police handbook. It's just going over, what we can and can't do as far as like swearing in and whether or not it's gonna be paid. And it's gonna be paid, do you want me to read it?
yeah, I mean, you can read it, see what you guys think. I mean, we'll go from there.
Any person hired as a police officer for the city of Assumption shall have a sworn-in date determined and agreed upon with the mayor, the police chairman, the police chief, as long as it is before said police officers begins police training in the PTI, or the Police Training Academy. The newly hired police officer, so long as they are sworn in, may participate in police ride-alongs with the police chief, but are not allowed to wear any police provided equipment other than the police provided pants, shoes, and shirt with no police identification. The newly hired police officer prior to completing police training academy shall not intervene in any police duties unless the sworn police officer's life is in danger while participating in police duties. The newly hired police officer, so long as they are sworn in, shall be paid for ride-alongs and any holidays. Also, any newly hired sworn-in police officers shall be paid when required to be outfitted for any clothing, equipment, and required travel for any location where the outfitting is being done.
So I just kind of took it off of what we've done, you know, for Jackson. I mean, just kind of tell me what you think. I typed it up over my lunch hour. So,
Yeah, I mean, it fits everything we need. I didn't see anything else that we needed. If you guys do, let me know.
yeah, and I put in there, you know, police chief. Like if we were to hire somebody, you know, let's say if we want to say hire a third one, they can only ride with you. They can't ride with the other deputy. I mean,
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why I put that in there. And then I know like the equipment, because we do provide the pants and the shoes for that. So yeah.
Has the attorney looked this over?
No, so what I'm kind of thinking was having you guys, you know, if you approve this, then having the attorney do it, because what we'll have to do is we'll have to basically put it into the handbook and then vote on it. So he should have everything laid out in accordance with us after, but before council is what I'm getting at. But he does know that we're working on something like this.
Yeah, I think it fits pretty much everything that we're looking
Okay.
for, so I mean,
There wasn't anything else that was, I can't think of anything, but I feel like there was, maybe I'm just wrong, but there wasn't any other, I think there was something
Anything-
else that we were wanting to
Anything
add to
in
that,
here,
but-
or what do you mean?
Well, like the insurance, we already have it in here that they get insurance within 30 days, starting on their 30th day.
That's already in what?
It's already in the
It's
handbook.
already,
Yeah, but-
yeah, it's already
okay,
in
okay.
handbook, yeah.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
It
of.
might have been.
Yeah, 'cause I know we were talking, yeah.
Do you wanna change any of the holidays? Make a change to the name, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, we should probably add, because we've given them the day after Thanksgiving. If we give them holidays, we gotta give everybody else some.
Looks like we've updated the book since 2017.
Yeah, updated August of 17. So really, that's about the only other
I have a question.
holiday.
Does anybody really went over this? Have you gone over this to see if anything else needs to be changed, or have you, or
I haven't.
before we even change that and make a deal about that, then I wanna
I
change
mean,
something
well,
else?
I mean, we've went through this before. Well, I know I mean, there's really not much of anything to change. Yeah, I mean, we could change like the holidays because we do give them the day after, so we can get that in there. But I mean, everything else is pretty well.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So for on page 2 for employment at will, you had talked about wanting to do a contract. You know what I mean? So like, would there have to be something put in there?
Well, so actually, Brian
For
and I
moving
had talked about
forward,
that a
yeah.
little bit on Saturday, and I think I'm kind of what I'm thinking is getting away from that.
Away from
And-
a contract? or-
Away from a contract. Now, here's the
Okay.
way that I'm thinking because, so I talked to Shelby County about
Mm-hmm.
this, and when they have to pay, the county
Mm-hmm.
has to pay, then yes, they do have something in there that they could pay. They have to pay something back if their
Yeah.
officers don't stay long enough. But I feel that so long as the state is paying, then
Gotcha.
and if they were to leave, but like all the equipment, they have to turn that in. They don't get to keep
Yeah.
anything with us. So that's when I just
So that's
was
not a
kinda
cost to
thinking,
the city then? It's
it's
just
not a
like-
cost or
okay.
anything. It's only now maybe we could put something in there if the city ever does pay for PTI training, then we should come up with like a formula. If they don't, but as for like a contract, I don't really think it's
Okay.
it's necessary. But what do you? I mean,
I
did
don't
we
think
add
that
something?
If the city pays, and then they decide 6 months down the road, well, this town is gonna pay us better, then we'll just leave.
Leave, yeah.
Then they should have to reimburse the city.
Okay. I mean, I'm
that's
I'm
not-
open to that.
Well, didn't we talk about doing maybe a contract with, like, a year or two contract when
Yes.
they go through training, that they can't just jump ship, within?
Yeah, but it goes back and forth if we could even do that.
That's where the attorney.
That's where the
needs to-
attorney. Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, the attorney has come in and said, "Well, you're an employment at will." Then it gets into. I mean, he kind of sent out a thing. Then what happens if we terminate him? And then
Okay.
it's into a bit of a debacle. But
That's
that's where I
we-
was like, if we
yeah.
have to, I mean, we'll try. If something happens to where, let's say Jackson's here and he's only here within a year, we'll try to pinpoint his reason. If he's not
Sure,
happy,
sure.
then we'll try to work it. You know, we're very flexible with
Yeah,
scheduling
yeah.
and things to that nature. But I do agree with the
Mm-hmm.
police training on if the city pays.
I understand being flexible with
Mm-hmm.
hours, but you know, the reason for hiring a police officer
Mhm.
is to have somebody on duty.
No, I agree.
And I think that we need to have people on duty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you want a job, then you better
Well,
expect
yeah.
to work. You know, that's kind of the way this.
Yeah, and he'll get his 80 hours for every 2 weeks, 40-hour work week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'll pass it on to the attorney.
Anything you wanna bring up? or-
Yeah, just, we'll go over these numbers in a minute,
Yes.
but we had a basketball tournament this Saturday, 6 teams all day, the middle school hosted, very, very, very good turnout. I would love to see what kind of revenue was brought into the city, but a lot of good comments from the parents and from the teams, being one of the better, bigger schools to host. It was state 1A 8th grade boys basketball. So we have the 2 final games Thursday night, so I'll be there for those as well. We'll have 4 teams that are coming for that 3rd and 4th place team, and then 1st and 2nd place team. So I know one team's from Springfield, Peru. I can't remember the other 2, but it was good to see the community. We couldn't really find an extra parking spot in the school.
Yeah, it was a
It was
lot.
so big, so many cars, but it was good. That's why we had all that traffic in town. I think we host some volleyball too. So, and then I know the high school also hosted an event, a sporting event Saturday as well. So we had that here with 16 or more than 6 teams because we had 6 games. But very, very good turnout. So it was really busy. Jump into this is what we typically do, the handout I gave you we do this in January if we have a January meeting. Every year I've been doing this. I'll just go down, so last year we had 206 training hours for the department, that's all the officers involved, part-time, full-time. Most of that, of course, would be for full-time officers. 20 accidents. It did increase quite a bit, but I counted every accident that we were dispatched to. As you can see, the numbers they're going up nationwide. They're going up in every county. I think a lot of that has to do with distracted driving, speeding. It's interesting when you look through. I have the numbers from the previous years too. I think that might have been one of the busiest years for traffic crashes for Assumption. I'm sorry, I don't have it right here. It's right here somewhere. I'll find it. So, traffic stops, we did 277, 130 of those were citations, 173 warnings. We've always had more warnings. It's more of an education issue. If they're not going, that fast, or they're, maybe they roll a stop sign instead of a full-blown blow through the stop sign, we might be more apt to give them a warning. I don't know all the statistics on what those warnings are because there were so many traffic stops, but arrests 14, domestics 20, which has kind of been standard the past 3 years, as you can see. Warrants dropped to 3. That's a good sign. Either people are taking care of those warrants, or they're not living here anymore. They've moved, different things like that, or people, like I said, aren't getting in trouble, or they're going to court when they're supposed to. This was interesting. 40 reports. The previous year was 51, and the previous year was 84.
What's that mean, bro?
Those are face reports where an officer has to do an actual report that, usually when we do a report, it will go to the state's attorney's office. Not every time. We could write a report for every single thing we do, but like a traffic ticket itself stands as a report.
Okay.
So, those are, and I could tell, that's anything from fraud, hey, my identity theft. We have had a lot of those in the beginning of last year when tax season comes around. Somebody's filed a false tax return in my name.
Okay.
It could be something as a
Violating an OP, one of those is mine.
Yeah, violation
Yeah.
of order of protection.
Yeah.
Revoked drivers, suspended drivers, DUIs, domestics, where somebody's hit somebody and they go to jail. That's the lowest of the 7-year period. And I can give this to whoever. This was issued last year. In 21, we had 51 reports, which, there it is. So 40. I'm not sure if that is a direct factor as well of losing a full-time officer, because obviously if you have 2 full-time officers, you're going to generate more stops, you're going to generate more activity, you're going to see more, so that could be the reason there. I don't know. This was very interesting. 674 calls for service, so that did go down a little bit as well, from 2020. 2020 was at the height of COVID, so as you can see, there's an asterisk for 2021. The dispatch center with Christian County was a new service that started in June of that year, so we couldn't get the numbers before because it was a different system, but we ended up, as you can see, it could have been higher. So
For the calls, for service, Brian, was that only for the Assumption Police only, not for
Police.
county that came over when you guys weren't on call?
no, because they
to help out
generate
or
their
anything.
own.
Okay.
Yeah, Christian County was over 1,000 calls
Oh,
for
wow.
service. So yeah, I don't know if that kind of helps. But for a small town, we have more numbers than some of the other small towns around as far as total calls for service. And again, that's any call that comes to Assumption. Whether it could be a traffic stop that we generate, it could be a follow-up, it could be a barking dog, it could be a warrant, a fire,
There's 500.
Yeah.
tow, like a broke down car on the highway, alarm calls, it could be any number of calls. So, and then the dispatch breaks those down, it's very specific, so. But yeah, that was very interesting that I saw that, but those, as you can see, most of the numbers are dropping. We're increasing the stops, and that was a direct result of all the crashes.
Right.
So we're trying to, but the crashes are still going up. So I don't know the answer. You literally could put a state trooper out there every day, all day long, and what in the 4 weeks, Derek? I think
4 weeks, yeah.
4 weeks they did 40 over 42
42.
citations. We see cars out there from Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, all over the nation because it's a major highway. So
I'm assuming Mowequa there at Casey's, they have the same issue, don't they?
yes and no. That's their number one crash intersection, but they do not have as many crashes as we do, and I don't know why. I have an idea. The hill, there's a crest and the pillar, and actually, when you pull up, if you look back to the north, you almost have to look at an angle.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Sure.
But the study they did, Derek, I think what the most accidents happen between like 11 and 2, right?
Something like
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
The
Um,
accidents were all during the daytime.
Yes.
It was
during
yes,
daytime.
None
all
at night.
No,
You're
none,
right.
none at night, which was really interesting. All during the day. So
It was sunny, it was, I don't recall, maybe one or two.
one, it was
Happened to-
raining or going to rain right
Yeah.
after because I remember
was
getting
kind of,
soaked.
was rainy, but most of it was sunny.
Mhm.
So I don't know if people are just. I honestly, I think people. You can see the numbers, and I've talked to other departments and chiefs, and the numbers are going up with crashes nationwide. I don't. At least in our.
In our
At
area.
least in Christian and Shelby County, Officer or Deputy Zeitler told me that too. They have so many crashes. It's unreal. So.
And our insurance will go up now. It's keep going up.
Number 4 deer hits, right? And the animal hits. And,
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Number 4. So, does anybody have any questions on those? I mean, obviously, my goal every year is to try to increase the stops because if we're increasing stops, then we're slowing people, keeping them safe. We're pretty static on training hours. That may fluctuate a little bit depending on the staffing. Let's see what else. We would love to drop the accidents. That would be nice. Yeah, in since 2016. Now I did kind of change in 1920 and 21. I changed the way we handled some of the accidents. So this would include any accident that we responded to, even if it wasn't ours, even if it was like out in the county or Shelby. We've responded to those out on the blacktop east of town, which is Shelby County. So if assumption officers go to a crash, that reflects that number.
Yeah.
Like my first 3 years, it showed only 6 each year, and those initial reports I recall were ones that we did direct paperwork on. So, and Donnie, coming back to your question, these reports, those 40 reports do not reflect crashes.
Okay.
Well, yes, they are. The calls for service do, but the reports do not.
Do not.
Because we do, but we still do a report on the crash reporting software. It's a
Okay.
different program,
Oh, okay.
so it doesn't take as long as a normal report.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's the state program. So
Gotcha.
yeah, clicking boxes and marking things down. So
Does the state, or the school, they did this back when I was in high school, like seatbelt enforcement, like they used to have somebody that would stand out and watch you. Now, if you were had your seatbelt on, you actually got rewarded. It was a program.
Yeah, we
produced
did that
through
a
the
couple
state, I think.
times.
Okay.
Since I've been here, we did that. We joined with the Mowequa chief a couple years. I
Yeah.
recall doing that. We've not done that program in the middle school because it's teachers and parents.
Yeah.
But it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me to do that. And we did. And
You did,
it was so the program that they
They had a
instilled.
name, I can't remember.
Yeah, the chief at the time, I can't remember who it was, but because we did it with 2 or 3 different. One time they partnered with the school, and if we observed a student without their seatbelt, they had the option of I don't know if it was a detention or you don't drive for a week, something like that.
Yeah.
Or for a few days. The school did that because it was
Yeah,
on
the
their
school did something
property. And
like
then
that
I
too, I
remember
can't
one year
remember.
too, it wasn't my choice, but it was a funny idea. We gave them dum-dum suckers if they didn't have their seatbelt.
Oh.
So, I don't know if they got a reward if they
Yeah.
were wearing their seatbelt. This is interesting. I may get in trouble, but I recall 100% that the majority of the people that didn't wear their seatbelts were adults. Because the kids knew to wear their seatbelt because
Yeah.
they were, they're pulling into the school. But and some teachers too didn't have their seatbelts on. But that's hey, we're all we're all normal. So sometimes we don't wear them, sometimes we do. But
I wanna say they used to give, this has been many years ago, that they gave some of the kids cash if they
Really?
had their seatbelts on.
I want to know where they got the cash. That'd be
I
good.
think it was a program. I mean,
Was
I'll
it?
have to go back and look. I know.
Wow.
I think because Shenandoah did it.
I think Stephanie got money.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you remember anything,
I
Donnie?
think Tyler got a detention
I've
on
had
his
constable
on.
last-
I think it was detention, right? I think it was, yeah.
I think it was
there was a
detention, our kids were
detention or
there, so I think
something.
Tyler got a
Yeah, I remember.
detention for
Cause,
having his
I mean,
on.
that made her wear a seatbelt, cause she'd get cash.
Yeah.
But that's been many years ago.
We handed out turkeys one year.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. One of the churches partnered with us and we stopped people.
Oh, I do remember
getting
that. You
turkeys
did.
for
Yes,
free.
you
They
did
gave
it
us 20
randomly.
Yeah.
20 turkeys, I think.
Yes.
So that was pretty fun. Yeah. That's all I have. Other than it seems like we've been busy with some interesting calls the past month or so. So calls we don't normally see, and Jackson's doing great. I told him I want him to come out of the academy tomorrow because we need him.
Yeah.
So
How
Yeah.
how far along is he now?
this is 5 or 6. I know that the graduation is April 28th. It's a Friday, so Derek, put that on your
Okay.
calendar. Yeah. And anybody else? I don't know how many. They probably don't limit now. I don't think they have 70.
They used to when PJ did. They
Yeah, they
limited
did.
us.
They
Yeah.
have 70 recruits. They started with 73, and they lost 3 for fitness. So that's a huge class. That's a huge class. So, yep. But that's all.
Well,
I have.
that's good, I guess. I mean,
It
it's
is
good.
good.
There's still people wanting to be police officers.
Mhm.
Alright, so, Don, you got anything?
No.
Susie, got
I
anything?
don't have anything.
Nope, I'm done.
Alright, I guess.
Lisa, you got anything anymore?
Alright, I guess I'll call this meeting adjourned.
Good.